23. Y por años nos han dicho, bueno, es que del pueblo de Comerío, de ese gran pueblo de Comerío, y ese obsequio va a ser que nos van a deletear por órbita verdaderamente, porque es algo que nosotros todavía no hemos aprendido a apreciar lo que nosotros tenemos como puertorriqueños. En una de nuestras metas era entrelazar las relaciones de los puertorriqueños de acá con los de allá. Por eso dedicamos nuestro primer tema de lo mejor de nuestro pueblo al pueblo de Comerío, y su alcalde José Santiago ha sido uno de los mejores proponentes de esta fiesta boricua y la ha apoyado todos los años. Esta fiesta boricua le dio inicio a esas conversaciones que tuvimos en que en el pueblo de Comerío hoy tienen uno de los mejores hoteles de Puerto Rico. Cuando ustedes visiten a Puerto Rico, quédense en Media Luna. Es un hotel extraordinario. Nuestro concejal Roberto Maldonado y su familia acaban de regresar de Puerto Rico y tuvieron la oportunidad de compartir con los compañeros a Chicago lo mejor de nuestro pueblo. Desafortunadamente, con la situación económica de Puerto Rico, esto no se pudo lograr. Pero el pueblo de Comerío y los compañeros de Caguas hicieron una gestión para traer al grupo Guajana de Comerío y el grupo Aromas de Caguas. Así es que verdaderamente le queremos dar las gracias a los dos municipios. Quiero pedirle a los que todavía están de pie, si no están esperando el mofongo, tomen asiento, porque queremos compartir con ustedes unos momentos bien importantes. Esta noche nosotros se la hemos dedicado a dos personas muy importantes de esta comunidad. Dos personas que no están con nosotros físicamente, pero están con nosotros con su espíritu. Y fueron dos pilares de nuestra comunidad. Fueron personas que se dedicaron a este pueblo. Rolando Correa fue uno de los fundadores. Yo y mi hermano fuimos cofundadores de El Rincón. Y él siempre estuvo en el liderazgo del Rincón. Hoy en día es una de las organizaciones más efectivas en nuestra comunidad. Y recordamos esta noche la memoria que está con nosotros de Rolando Correa. Está con nosotros también la presencia y la memoria de Nancy Franco Maldonado. Esta mujer murió hace poco, como también el compañero Rolando. Para nosotros, a mi nivel personal, ambas muertes fueron algo bien personal. Nancy no fue una persona que estaba en tribuna, no fue una persona que estaba escribiendo, pero Nancy verdaderamente fue esbozando unas ideas muy importantes que nosotros las estamos logrando y que las vamos a lograr. Y lo vamos a hacer con su presencia espiritual con nosotros. Oigan esto. Nancy es la hija de dos baluartes también, aquí presentes, su mamá Fera y Héctor. Héctor, para que lo sepan, comenzó su trabajo político de organizador comunitario con mi hermano Oscar López Rivera. Y aquí tenemos todavía a Héctor Franco. Y con nosotros su bella mamá Fela, que también se encuentra, que ha sido también un baluarte de esta comunidad. Ahorita le voy a dar la oportunidad para que ellos, como los miembros de la familia de Rolando, la familia de Nancy, puedan reflexionar sobre estas dos personas. Pero yo quiero que ustedes entiendan que esta comunidad lleva muchos años de lucha. Cuando hablamos de Rolando Correa, nos tenemos que ubicar en la escuela Tully High School, donde yo me gradué y de donde él se graduó. Y tenemos que ubicarnos en esa época, precisamente hace 50 años, de una rebelión en esta comunidad que dijo: basta ya del abuso que nos han dado, que las instituciones de esta sociedad nos ha impuesto. Por eso Héctor dedicó su vida al trabajo comunitario. Por eso fue que mi hermano sale de Vietnam en el 67, 6 meses después de la rebelión, y se dedica a mejorar la calidad de vida de nuestra comunidad. Y por eso Rolando Correa vivió toda su vida luchando por nuestro pueblo. Lo hicimos en distintas formas. No coincidimos todo el tiempo con las formas, pero algo nos une: ese sentido de dignidad, de que cuando hay injusticia tenemos que confrontarla con valentía, porque para nosotros, si no hay valentía, no vale vivir. Uno de los grandes maestros que quizá ustedes han oído, Sócrates, su último testimonio es precisamente ese: es que una vida no explorada, una vida sin que uno se comprometa, no tiene sentido de vivir, no tiene sentido. Yo creo que Nancy es hija de una lucha y continuó esa lucha en su corta vida. Sus hijos están aquí y yo sé que de ellos se espera mucho. Los hijos de Rolando están aquí y de ellos se espera mucho, porque nacieron en hogares de lucha y compromiso. Así es que para mí, quiero tomar la oportunidad y darle la oportunidad a la familia de Rolando, el que quiera, que yo creo que su hijo quiere decirnos algo. So if you want to come up, and we'll have you say whatever you like. For us, Rolando was a very special being, and we're so happy to be able to dedicate this night to him, to his life, and to his work. And we're honored to have his son, obviously with us, be able to speak to you about his father, his greatness, and how much we missed him physically. But let me tell you something that I learned. You can miss someone physically, but as long as you keep them in your memory, as long as they're part of your life, they continue to be part of us. Come on.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you, everyone that's here today. It's a pleasure to even be able to get next to the microphone and speak to everybody a little bit. I didn't write a speech or anything. I felt it rather come from the heart and from the mind. I don't know if everybody here knew my father. He was definitely a great man. He definitely loved the island he grew up in was born in. And when he came to America, I'm assuming you call it Chicago, America, he really was he loved his Puerto Rican people. I can tell you that. He fought for his country. He fought for his country. And I'm sure most of the minorities back in those days really didn't even want to go to war, but most of the time at a certain age you have to go to war no matter what. That was just how it went. And he fought in Vietnam. I'm proud of that. He never ever wanted to talk to me about what happened in Vietnam. I asked him all my life. I'm 44 years old. He passed away in June. And I asked him up to a little bit before he passed. I would always ask him about what happened in Vietnam. He never wanted to tell me. All he told me was, you really don't want to know what happened. So I had to respect that. I had to honor that. But I know he saw some things I probably wouldn't be able to swallow. But at the same time, I know he loved his people. He loved Chicago. He loved Humboldt Park. He did as many things as he could for his people. Him and Rafael Rios, Paloma, which was like a brother to him, they started pretty much Rincon. And I see what they really wanted was to help their people and have them noticed for not their faults, but for the issues that we were going through in life, because a lot of people came from other parts of America and maybe the wars, and some of them came back and were addicts, some were alcoholics, some everybody had some type of issue when they came back, and he saw that, and he saw a door he felt he can open and push the people through that door and help them out in each way he could. And I'm proud of that. I never followed his footsteps with that, which nowadays I'm trying to, but I feel like maybe it's a little too late for me, but he's always told me it's never too late. You gotta keep pushing, you gotta keep doing it. So I don't want to take up too much time on the microphone, because I could talk to you guys all night. I don't want to do that. I want everybody to have a good time, enjoy that mofongo. It's awesome. Coming straight from Puerto Rico and enjoy our night. It's a great night, it's a grand night. But I'm thankful that everybody that came out tonight is honoring both my father and Roberto Maldonado's wife. She was a great woman also. And to me, they're pillars of our community. We have a lot of issues happening in Chicago, but we can see past that. If you have faith, you put the weight in God's hands, He's going to take care of us. But we have to unite. And we have to keep it together. Because what's happening now, if you don't notice, We have come apart, but I'm sure some people want to take it from us. I mean, I might not be, for sure on that. Don't quote me. I don't want anybody trying to sue me for the quote, but I know for a fact they want Humble Park. They've always wanted Humble Park. And this is ours. So, let's keep it tight. Let's keep our people together. Fight for it, because this is our park. This is Humble Park. Most of the people here have been born and raised here. I mean, they moved us all over in Chicago. We've migrated south side, north side, west side, east side. But this is where we remain. So let's keep it strong as a Puerto Rican people. And keep this Humble Park live and keep their memories both. Lift them up and just follow what they really wanted to do, because they've worked hard to help our people, and let's just keep doing that. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
So thank you, Orlando Correa Jr. And next, I want to bring up our alderman, Roberto Maldonado. I think that I want to say this. I've known Roberto for many years, and I said this on a number of occasions, that Nancy, in many ways, was incredibly important, not only in the vision of Roberto, but also in many ways making Roberto, who was already a great man, I think a greater man and a greater human being. Roberto.
En primer lugar, quisiera expresar mi sentido de pésame a la familia de Rolando. Yo conocí a Rolando Jr. en el 1978, cuando yo vine aquí a Chicago. Yo era un joven psicólogo graduado de la Universidad de Puerto Rico, y el Rincón fue uno de los primeros lugares que me dieron un trabajo como consultor, como psicólogo. Y desde ese entonces conocí a tu papá, al igual que nuestro otro compañero que se nos fue hace poco. Y yo vi transformaciones de Rolando, que él no solamente era parte de esa junta de El Rincón, pero él también tenía su profesión y gravitó a través del tiempo, desde el pintor y otras profesiones más, hasta que vino a ser el director ejecutivo de El Rincón. Y yo recuerdo que hace ni un año atrás estuvimos en mi oficina, nos estuvimos platicando sobre esa adquisición de esa propiedad adicional a la propiedad original de Rincón, allí en la calle, en la avenida Grant. Y como quizás para ustedes, en tu familia, fue como una sorpresa, lo lamentable que fue el fallecimiento de tu papá, al igual fue lamentable para mi familia y para mí, de lo sorpresivo que fue el fallecimiento de mi esposa, la madre de mis hijos y la hija de mis suegros. Es increíble, podemos estar toda la noche hablando de las injusticias del mundo, por qué ocurren lo que ocurre y por qué ocurren lo que ocurre a nosotros y a nuestros seres queridos. Y podemos dedicar toda la noche a platicar y a conversar sobre por qué pasó lo que pasó, nunca nos pudiésemos explicar por qué ocurrió lo que ocurrió a ambas familias. Mi esposa es el amor de mi vida. Es la madre de mis 3 hijos, René, de 15 años, Roberto, segundo, de 11 años, acabado de cumplir, y mi princesa, de 8 años, Raquel. Y yo siempre dije que me sacara la lotería con mi suegra, porque nunca pude desear tener una mejor suegra que mi suegra Felicita. Y en muchísimas ocasiones yo le expresé ese sentimiento. Y a mi suegro, él fue una de las primeras personas como profesional aquí en Chicago que yo conocí. Cuando era director ejecutivo de ABC, Allied for a Better Community. Y yo fui a solicitar trabajo allí como un joven psicólogo en su oficina. Y en aquel entonces, yo no sé si me dijo que no tenía trabajo para mí porque no me quería allí, o si realmente no había trabajo. Pero sin embargo, ese fue el primer contacto que yo tuve con mi suegro, que mi futuro suegro. Y bromeando un montón de años después, yo le dije a mi suegro, ¿te acuerdas cuando tú no me quisiste dar trabajo en ABC? Pues ahora vas a tener que ser mi suegro. Pero yo sé y reconozco el liderato que ejerció mi suegro cuando aquí no existían líderes puertorriqueños, oficiales electos puertorriqueños. Personas como Héctor, mi suegro, y otros como Oscar eran los que proveían los servicios que hoy nuestros constituyentes dependen de nosotros, los nuevos puertorriqueños que venimos a ser oficiales electos. Así que mucho yo le debo a él. Y es interesante, hace unos 4 meses atrás, Alejandro estaba en mi casa hablando sobre una fundación que mis hijos decidieron crear para detectar early detection de pancreatic cancer, que fue de lo que mi esposa falleció. Y tuve la oportunidad de hablar con Oscar. Y él me dijo a mí, cuando tu esposa tenía 3 días de nacida, yo la cogí en mis brazos. Esa fue la primera vez que yo supe de la intensa relación de Oscar con la familia de mi esposa y con mi esposa. Y quizás por esos encuentros iniciales de su vida, con una figura como su padre, y Oscar, fue que mi esposa fue tan influyente en mi vida política como lo fue. Si ustedes me acreditan a mí por cualquier cualquiera buenas ideas que se han implementado en el Distrito 26 o de otras buenas ideas que estamos en el proceso de implementar. Yo les puedo asegurar que la inmensa mayoría de esas buenas ideas surgieron de mi esposa. Y como siempre se dice, cuando un político tiene una buena compañera, esos llamados pillow talks se convierten en acción en la vida de la comunidad que ese político quiere representar. Así es que José y el Centro Cultural Puertorriqueño, yo les agradezco a nombre de mi familia primaria y extensa profundamente de todo lo que ustedes han reconocido, que yo personalmente reconocía en mi esposa, que siempre seguirá viviendo en nuestra comunidad por la influencia que va a tener y continuará teniendo en nuestra comunidad. Gracias y que Dios nos bendiga a todos.
Ahora quiero traerle a ustedes a la persona que dirige esta institución y que verdaderamente fue y ha sido uno de los arquitectos de mucho del trabajo que se ha hecho en esta comunidad. Así que quiero presentarle a ustedes al director ejecutivo del único Museo Nacional puertorriqueño en los Estados Unidos. Y quiero que ustedes piensen que están aquí en este lugar, pero a ambos lados de este lugar, después de un espacio, existen unas verjas, y entre todo este terreno que está entre estas verjas son 3 cuerdas de tejeno y pertenecen a esta institución para siempre. Y nosotros entendemos que mucho del trabajo que hizo este lugar posible fue el trabajo de nuestro ex concejal y ahora director ejecutivo de este museo, Billy Ocasio.
Buenas noches a todos. Voy a hacer esto bien breve porque sé que la comida ya se ha ponido un poquito fría. Y allá tenemos de Puerto Rico, ¿verdad? Tenemos los plátanos de Puerto Rico y eso we cannot waste those. So we got to make sure we get to it. So folks, let me just welcome you here. Let me thank you all for being here. Let me first of all say, Roberto, to your family, to Rolando's family, you know, you guys have done so much for this community, and I want to pay my respects to Rolando and to Nancy for everything they've done. We all know that some hombres no sabemos hacer todas esas cosas, pero, you know, it's like we had an exception in Rolando. Rolando got the job done. Rolando got the job done. And Nancy has been there with us for such a long time, always caring, raising a good family. So folks, let me just thank you for that. Thank you for everything you guys have meant to this community. I do just want to take this opportunity to acknowledge a few folks, because I think that it's important that there's a lot of people who have worked on a lot of different issues. You know, this museum, you see it here, but this museum has been a labor of this community for the last 15 years. Actually, I met my wife during the construction of this museum. So we have been here for 15 years working and working and working. But it's been a lot of people who have really been behind that, and I gotta thank Jose Lopez and the Puerto Rican Cultural Center for everything that they have done to make sure that not only this museum, but that Paseo Boricua and that the Puerto Rican culture continues to live. So, Jose, thank you. Let me recognize a few folks. I know that we have with us Councilman from Springfield, Adam Gomez, is that correct? Springfield? Adam Gomez? Thank you. Over here from Holyoke, we have Nelson Roman. Nelson Roman, thank you. Also from Holyoke, we have the council person, Josie Velasquez, right? Okay, great. You guys all met Alderman Roberto Maldonado, who has done a fantastic job here. And then we had the first ever, and the only, I shouldn't say just the first ever, but the only Latina to ever represent us in the state Senate, Iris Martinez. You know, there's going to be a lot going on this weekend. But I just want you all to remember, you know, some things that are important about this. One of those is that, you know, we got to preserve our culture. We got to preserve our traditions. We got to preserve our music. And there is an artist who came here with his students to present a piece of art to our good leader, Jose Lopez. And if you haven't seen it, it's right behind you. It's a beautiful piece of art. Richard Santiago is here from Puerto Rico. Richard, can you stand up? Thank you and your students for presenting this to Jose Lopez. Finally, regardless of where you sit, regardless of what you think, there's one person that has united all Puerto Ricans. That's Oscar. And we could just say Oscar. I don't think we have to say anything else. Everybody knows who Oscar is. There's a wonderful exhibit in here that deals with Oscar, that's dedicated to Oscar. And, you know, it doesn't matter what side of the political structure you come from, it's about Oscar. So I want everybody to go inside, see this exhibit, and remember that this weekend is about Oscar. Thank you all.
So tonight we want to honor two communities that we have selected to represent lo mejor de nuestros barrios. And we are honored to have met the leaders that Billy just introduced in a trip that I made to Holyoke and to Springfield, Massachusetts. And there was such a wonderful spirit, I would say, that joined us immediately. That we became a family. And I said, we need to do something. And what better way than to select Holyoke and Springfield for this year as the representatives o lo mejor de nuestro barrio. So can the three other people come up and I want all of you to give them a really, really warm welcome. By the way, Councilor Nelson Roman actually made a resolution in Holyoke declaring a day for me in Holyoke. I said, oh my God, that was amazing. I don't think too many people that work with me really wanted me to get that, but, because I gave them a hard time. But anyhow, I really am grateful. I'm grateful for the wonderful leadership. This is the future of what Puerto Rico will be. And they're going to say some things about their lives, which are going to tell you what I mean. And I want you to listen carefully. My delinquents in the back kitchen, I see some of them. You come over here, I want you to listen to this, because this is a very important moment. And that includes Janeda and all of them back there. I'm going to start calling out names. See, that's what I do to them, expose them. But anyhow, this is very important. And it's very important because Puerto Rico is undergoing an incredible crisis. And Puerto Ricans in the United States must make this year a year of action. We must tell the U.S. government that it is time for them to deal with Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican people have never had a choice about their status. In 1922, the U.S. Supreme Court declared Puerto Rico belongs to, but is not a part of, the United States. For 118 years, we've been a piece of property of the United States. It's time to end that. It's time to end it, and it's time to end it by giving the Puerto Ricans the right to decide what they want. And it has to be done with a binding plebiscite according to international law that establishes that Puerto Ricans can choose to become part of the United States as a state. They can choose to be in free association, and they can choose independence. But this must be something that the Puerto Rican people truly understand what it means. And for those of you who went crazy with Monica Puig winning this gold medal for Puerto Rico, I think you got a problem when you think about the possibilities of statehood. However, you may want to put as one of your demands for statehood that Puerto Rico has representation in the International Olympics. Maybe that's possible. But anyhow, it's about time to resolve the problem of Puerto Rico. And the problem of Puerto Rico is not that the Puerto Ricans cannot decide. That is not the problem. We have never been allowed to decide. The U.S. Supreme Court and the U.S. Congress 2 months ago determined that. The Promesa bill liquidated any possibilities that Puerto Rico had any appearance of sovereignty. So that's it. It's a mess. Now we got to deal with the problem. So for me, what these young people represent is the future. A future in which 5.5 million Puerto Ricans in the United States are going to decide the fate of Puerto Rico along with Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico. Right now, people, we may see that Hillary is ahead, but let me tell you, the 3 pivotal states that are going to determine the next presidency of the United States is Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. And let me tell you, there are 1.2 million Puerto Ricans in Florida, and they determined the last election for Obama. And there are 500,000 Puerto Ricans. The largest Latino group in the state of Pennsylvania are Puerto Ricans. And there are almost 100,000 Puerto Ricans in Ohio, and no president since 1912 has won the presidency with a large amount of votes, but no one has become president without Ohio. The way to the White House is through the Puerto Ricans. Okay? And so, I can tell you that in the next few weeks, a lot of things are going to happen. Because those 3 states are right now, obviously, and really, they're very close. So, think about that. But think about the fact that who we are is defined by the multiplicities of who we are as individuals. And the multiplicity of that is woven and interwoven into the fabric that defines who we are as a people. And so for me, it is important to understand that in the age of the Puerto Rican nation being a nomad, we are a nomadic people, we have become a nomadic nation. We, in the diaspora, are going to be the ones who are redefining and redefining Puerto Ricanness. And so, I want to leave you with these 3 wonderful members of the city council of these 2 cities, and they will each say something, and you will understand what I am saying when they finish. Now,
how do you follow Jose Lopez, right? I got the worst spot out of the 3 of us. Buenas noches, good evening, everyone. My name is Nelson Roman. I am the city councilor for Ward 2 in the city of Holyoke. My story is this. I moved to Western Mass by way of Connecticut in 2009. I was a young man full of hopes and dreams and proud to be a Boricua, but I actually ended up being homeless. I lived on the street for 2 years and in a tent, and I contracted HIV, and I struggled, and I was in the system, and I realized that the system was rigged against me. Not only because I was LGBT, not only because I was HIV positive, but also because I was a man of color, I was a Boricua. And it didn't matter what I did in this awesome town that feels and looks like it is Old San Juan. If you come, Holyoke is literally Chicago and Paseo Boricua, just 30 years behind you. We're coming up though. But Holyoke is the #1 city in the United States with percentage of capita Puerto Ricans. Half of our population is Latino Boricua. 50% of that is in our lower wards. A big part of my representation and my colleague that I'm going to introduce in a minute. Our school system, 90%, close to 80% plus of the youth in our school system are Boricuas. And the state has taken it over because it's failing our youth and our future. I realized getting out of poverty, working to help homeless families get out of their transition, working for LGBT rights and saying that LGBT rights are human rights and human rights are LGBT rights. We need to ensure that our community se levantaron todito y no un poco, ¿verdad? I worked from there and I had great and amazing pillars to look up to, like my colleague to the left. My colleague Josie Valentin, a couple of years before, decided that she would be a pioneer. And not only is she an amazing, and I'll let her tell her own narrative, an amazing Boricua Latina, but she is a badass lesbian. So un aplauso para ella, por favor. It gave a little Latino Boricua homosexual the opportunity to say, espérate, I could be me, I could be open, I could be proud, I could be orgulloso to be Boricua, and stand to make sure that our community has basic quality of life things, like decent parks, like gentrification from stopping, like you're experiencing here in Holyoke, we're experiencing the same thing. Like our culture being diminished, like the fact that in some schools and in some areas you're discouraged from speaking Spanish. We have a responsibility to carry the mantle. And it was on the backs of amazing forefathers like Betty Medina, Carlos Vega in Holyoke, this amazing man, Manuel Frau Ramos, who's here in the front row, El Sol Latino, the Boricua-owned paper we say in Holyoke, for 5+ years has been talking about the freedom of Oscar Lopez Rivera. Stand up, Manuel. Take a round of applause. Manuel Frau Ramos, damas y caballeros. It was because of people like Manuel Frau and Jose Bo. When I went into Salsa Rengue restaurant, you ever come to Holyoke, please stop there. I didn't know who Oscar was. I'm not going to lie. I'm a 28-year-old guy. I said, who's this guy? Well, 29 already. My birthday was August 3rd. Thank you, Josie, for correcting me. I'm trying to stay young. I said, who is this man? And Jose Bo kicked me out of his restaurant until I studied and found out who Oscar Lopez was. But it is an important narrative that now it is in my heart and soul. For me, similar to Oscar, similar to Pedro Albizu Campos, our Puerto Rican diaspora will never see economic equality or racial justice in this nation until our patria is free and independent and by itself. And that is my personal belief, but I feel that that is directly connected. It is because of that that I'm here, that we were able to bring Jose, and Jose is our padrino, Jose is our life, Jose is our everything, and for us, Jose is the standard bearer. He is our Olympic flame torch, and he will always be a part of our diaspora in Holyoke and in Springfield, and we are honored, we are grateful, and we thank you for this honor today. And we are so welcoming to each and every one of you. Please come to Holyoke, please come to Springfield. Mi apartamento es pequeño, pero podemos caber 20, ya lo tratamos, okay? I am blessed and honored to say that from Humboldt Park to Holyoke, we are now united and linked eternally. And that yes, it is okay to be young, to be on the streets, to be homeless, to be HIV and to be gay and be Boricua, and sí se puede, and we are going to do this together. Con todo eso, it is my privilege and honor to say that she is my Shiro. She literally sits right next to me on the council and kicks me, make sure I get my stuff in on time, me pongo en orden. She is my mentor, she is one of my guides on the council. Damas y caballeros, she just flew in directly from the airport to come here. My colleague and friend, Ward 4 City Councilor Josie Valentin.
Yeah, Jose.
Holyoke.
Muy buenas noches a todos, gracias a Nelson por la presentación. Es un placer para mí estar aquí. Nuevamente mi nombre es Josie Valentín, soy City Councilor en Holyoke, Massachusetts. Voy a hacer como que Spanglish por si acaso, porque no sé si todo el mundo habla español. Estoy en mi segundo término como concejal en la ciudad de Holyoke y es realmente un placer y un privilegio servir mi comunidad de esta manera. Mi historia, bien brevemente, es que básicamente estudié en la Universidad de Puerto Rico, en el recinto de Río Piedra. ¿Quién aquí estudió en la UPI? Okay. Gallito y jerezana, por ahí para abajo. Estudié en la Universidad de Puerto Rico y hice mi bachillerato ahí, y cuando fue momento de ir a escuela graduada decidí mudarme a Massachusetts, y me mudé como muchos de los boricuas que se están yendo de la isla hoy día para tener otras oportunidades que no estaban disponibles en la isla y que lamentablemente muchas veces todavía no están disponibles. Eso fue en el 1998. Tenía 21 años, hoy día tengo 39, yo no niego la edad como Nelson. No, le damos la excusa porque literalmente cumplió esta semana, así que se le olvidó que tenía que hacer el update en el speech. Pero eso fue en el 1998 y literalmente me fui a hacer la maestría y me quedé. Y esa es la historia de muchos de nosotros que hemos llegado aquí a los Estados Unidos. He tenido muchísimas oportunidades de trabajar en la comunidad y de momento llegó un capítulo nuevo donde decidí que quería lanzarme a la política. Había participado en muchísimas campañas en Puerto Rico como voluntaria, pero nunca había corrido para ningún puesto político. Fui a 20.000 caravanas, como me imagino que muchos de ustedes fueron también. Y sabemos que la política es muy, muy diferente en Estados Unidos. Así es que cuando decidí lanzarme claramente como mujer latina y como lesbiana, y tuve la oportunidad de literalmente tener tantas interacciones con la comunidad, donde tuve la oportunidad de educar a personas sobre diferentes cosas, sobre mis identidades, sobre cuáles eran mis prioridades, sobre qué era importante para mí en la comunidad de Holyoke. Y como que me quedé en español y me voy a quedar en español.
¡Eso!
If anybody needs translation, let me know later. I'm happy to give you the Cliff Notes version. Y en realidad, la política en Holyoke, que es algo que Nelson no comentó mucho, pero para que tengan una idea, la ciudad de Holyoke, como dijo Nelson, es 50% latino, boricua. Y eso, en cuestión de números, son 20.000 residentes. Hay 40.000 residentes total en la ciudad. y 20,000 son puertorriqueños, latinos primordialmente puertorriqueños. Cuando ustedes miran la representación política que hay en Holyoke, somos 15 concejales y solamente 4 somos boricuas. Y es la primera vez que hay tantos. Así es que les doy una idea de todo el trabajo que hay por hacer. Pero al igual que Nelson, siempre veo una oportunidad de tratar de crear unos puentes entre nuestras comunidades. Necesitamos aliados en todos los niveles, aliados que sean personas que no son latinos, aliados que personas que no sean LGBT, etcétera, etcétera. Así es como logramos el trabajo en nuestra comunidad. Y una cosa que Nelson y yo tenemos en común es que trabajamos fuerte para nuestros constituyentes y estamos siempre mirando quién es la persona que viene detrás de nosotros, ¿verdad? Pues para quién hay que abrir esa puerta, porque nosotros no vamos a estar ahí toda la vida. Y es algo que siempre estamos trabajando muy, muy fuerte y me agradó muchísimo saber que Nelson hoy estuvo compartiendo con los jóvenes LGBT del rescate. Me hubiera encantado estar ahí, pero no pude llegar. Además de ser concejal en la ciudad de Holyoke, trabajo full time en un community college, así que siempre me estoy poniendo los dos sombreros. Y literalmente empezamos el semestre el martes que viene, así que no me podía ir por el día de hoy. Pero es un placer realmente estar aquí con ustedes. Al igual que Nelson, les extiendo la invitación a que vengan a visitarnos cuando gusten. Estamos trabajando muy, muy fuerte para seguir levantando nuestra comunidad y para seguir poniendo el nombre de Holyoke y de Springfield en alto. Y con eso quiero presentar a mi próximo compañero, concejal de la ciudad de Springfield, Massachusetts, Adam Gómez.
Well, I'm going to be the total opposite. I'm going to talk to you guys in English. Aside from, my name is Adam Gomez. I'm the newest elected official to the Springfield City Council. I represent a community called Memorial Square, Lower Liberty Heights, in the Brightwood neighborhood. That is 70% Puerto Rican, Latino. My story is a little bit different from theirs. I was born and raised in the Pioneer Valley. I was born and raised in Western Massachusetts. My grandfather, Roberto Sieja, came to the Pioneer Valley by himself 50 years ago. And he came looking for work in the fields, in the tobacco fields. And he had this dream that he wanted to go back home. But evidently, like everybody else that leaves Puerto Rico and that wants to go back home, they kind of don't get that chance. But evidently, I came and I don't even know, like I said before in the afternoon, how I got to this point. The campaign that I ran was 87 days. I was an organizer. I was a kid in the street, a kid that thought that we were going nowhere fast. I got involved with my brother in arms, Jafet Robles, that he couldn't be here. I got involved with a parade that my father founded. Because, you know, everybody knows growing up in a house where your father's a politician, you really don't want to get involved with politics. Wow. My father's name is Gumercindo Gomez. He's a retired drill sergeant from the armed forces, which he's 5'5", I'm 6'2". He still says that I'm from the milk. But I look exactly like the gentleman. But aside from that, it's big shoes to fill. But now, you know, before I go on, I just want to take the time to recognize Lucila Santana. She's our chairperson from a parade in Springfield. Last year we dedicated the parade to Oscar Lopez. Seeing the motivation that actually came from a small city, not as big as Springfield. Springfield is 160,000 residents, which between Holyoke and Springfield alone, it's 86,000 Puerto Rican people. So from here to the airport is actually longer to get from Holyoke to Springfield. So it's funny, it's like Holyoke, I like to say like it's un barrio de Springfield. No, listen. They'll get me for that later, but the fact is it's funny is because I'm so involved with our region that sometimes I get calls from Holyoke because they think I'm a council member of Holyoke too, because I'm everywhere, and it's just an honor to work with so many great people. We also have Jose Delgado, and we also have Waleska de Jesus Lugo that's with us. Before I go on, we have a token of our appreciation. Elizabeth Roman from Pueblo Latino in Springfield. We also have a newspaper, a Latino newspaper in Springfield. We have a token of our appreciation. It's a book about Nuestra Historia that she's going to give to the museum while I'm talking. I apologize. I ain't gonna lie. I usually am not this nervous, but for some reason it's just I feel like I have so much to say. And it's like in our community, we've come a long way, just like Humboldt Park. We're going through gentrification. We have a big casino coming into our city, MGM. And you know when those big things starts coming, they start pushing little people out. My neighborhood right now, we're going through a reface of, job inequality. When I got involved with organizing, because it takes great pride to come here to Chicago, because this is the home of organizing. Whenever I talk about organizing, Chicago was the first city and the first minority groups to bring people together in the field, on the Mexican, French, Puerto Rican, and really bring people together to really fight against these big people and big business, especially, the mayor that you guys have here, God bless him. So, I'm not throwing no shade though. But honestly, coming here, I really wanted to send a message to the young people that I've met, like Mito, that you brought him, and how I met Mr. Jose Lopez. He was so humble. Jafet, and when he came to visit Holyoke, seeing them with their resolution, I already knew who Oscar was, but on my city council, I'm not blessed to have 4 Puerto Rican council members. I have one other Puerto Rican council member that he's been there. He ran three times, lost 3 times, but he kept it pushing. His name is Orlando Ramos. He's going to be our next president on our city council this upcoming year. He couldn't be with us. And right now, where we are, we're definitely in a transformation, trying to bring jobs back to the Pioneer Valley. We are definitely a melting pot of different cultures, but the Puerto Rican diaspora is huge. It's a community that that was really well organized, and a lot of people over time, they, like I said, they don't get to go back home, and we lose people down the line. And now, I just want to just say how thankful that I am that to Jose, the PRCC, the National Puerto Rican Agenda. I also have a colleague here that I met in Wall Street when I was just probably 5 months in. And the state senator from here in Chicago, great friend of mine. It's funny how all this stuff comes full circle. And you're never going to have enough words, but for young people, I'm a college dropout, and I'm not saying that's a good thing. I just couldn't afford to go to college because some unfortunate things does happen in life, like my colleagues had stated. My family was homeless, but it got to a point that I couldn't live with my family because we weren't married. So when my girlfriend and my son were living in the hotel, I had to figure it out and live in my car. And I had to do what I had to do to try to make ends meet. And, from the graces of God now, I stand before you as a city council member, which in the end, it's not about titles, it's about hard work. And it's about people that support you, and the people that genuinely love you. Your mom, your dad, your aunts, your uncles, and sometimes the ones that don't have their moms or their dads. You guys have gentlemen like Jose Lopez that teach people like Mito, have good people like Alejandro, that no matter what, when I have a tough question to ask, and I don't know who to ask, I still reach out and I said, do I close the door or leave it open? No, leave it open, son, leave it open. But now, this September, we have our Puerto Rican parade, September 18th. It gives us great pride. Our theme is called Stand Up por la Lucha. Not necessarily saying that, we have a lot of things, and on the contrary, on the 31st, we have big protests going on with La Junta and Puerto Rico. We've seen our young people out there, our millennials. We are the future. Us young people need to get involved. We need to get involved with voting, with your neighborhood boards, because all elections are local. If you want to make an impact, I know this impact that we're trying to do seems like a big thing. But how we do it is back at home, at Humboldt Park, in the Flats, South Holyoke, Brightwood, Memorial Square, Springfield, the South Bronx, Chicago, Orlando. Rest in peace to all the Puerto Ricans that we lost at Club Pulse. We have to come together as people to understand that, like our Don said, Jose Lopez, that all elections are won through this small island, and we have more people here off the island than we have on the island. And it's very important that young people understand the electoral process. I never wanted to vote, but until I found out into organizing, that's the only time you bring power to the people, is when you start working and staying on the side of the people. I thank you. This honor it humbles me, and I receive it, and I invoke my ancestors and the people that couldn't go back home. One day I will make it there again, and to the Pica in Sabana Grande, and I will honor my grandparents and honor my ancestors, the ones that aren't here to receive this award. And wow, what a blessing. Thank you.
So we just wanted to honor two more people from our delegation that weren't left out on purpose, but we got the full list, so gracias. But just quickly, Waleska de Jesus is from the Healing Racism Institute, Executive Director. Jose Delgado from UMass Springfield, un aplauso. Manuel Frau from El Sol Latino. Elizabeth Roman from Mass Live, El Pueblo Latino. We have the amazing Giovanni Negron, who is, I don't know where you work, Giovanni, but he's our photographer, and he's the awesome husband to Lucila Santana from Springfield Public Schools, but also president of the Springfield Puerto Rican Parade. Del Marina Lopez, she's from Bay Path University, and Josie's in trouble. Josie's wife Miriam came on the plane with her. The amazing and beautiful Miriam Quiñones from Holyoke Community College, the wife of my colleague. So I just wanted to introduce our delegation and also let you know that in Holyoke and Springfield, we were the first two New England cities to unanimously pass a resolution calling for President Obama to free Oscar Lopez Rivera. On September 16th, we are holding the first New England, Puerto Rican elected and appointed officials convening in Springfield at UMass Springfield. And then Saturday the 17th is the New England, Puerto Rican Diaspora Conference. We are really on the move and in La Lucha, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank two amazing people for me this weekend and this week. Juan Candelario and Roberto have been amazing to me and great LGBT leaders in this community. So un aplauso para ellos, por favor. Thank you all so much. God bless you and have a great day.
We want to give each of them a little gift so they can take back some memories of Chicago. But also in here is obviously Luis Gutierrez. So the same thing for you. Wonderful. She's an amazing woman, isn't she? And for you, here you are, and I hope you enjoy. His mother is makes wonderful coffee, and she's going to enjoy this coffee from Ciales, Puerto Rico. So we also want to give each of them a t-shirt that just came out, our official Fiesta Boricua t-shirt of this year. And it has polio and thank you. So, to try to put an end to this, I really want to ask Sandra to come up here and sort of try to take us along the next steps, because obviously food is awaiting us.
Hello everyone. First of all, I want to apologize for all the trouble with the tables. I really apologize. I think that this year you rocked. This year was amazingly full. I'm sorry again. But I want to present one of the persons that has done a not only great but amazing job in Puerto Rico as an artist. And here, he brought his art here from the face of our dear Executive Director Jose Lopez. Tiago, come here, please. Richard Santiago, one of the top artists in Puerto Rico right now. Excellent professor, all his students came with him. So, explain your art, please.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna do it in Spanish, okay? Whenever I talk on the microphone, I feel like my voice is like Mickey Mouse voice, so I'm just gonna talk in Spanish to try to contrarrestar eso. Okay, primero que nada, les doy las gracias a todos, a toda la gente que nos está tratando tan espectacularmente, que todo el mundo disfrute hoy. En Puerto Rico se llama la Escuela de Artes Plásticas, ellos se centran en el 20. Es más, pasen para acá, sí, pasen para acá todos, sí, para que sufran esto conmigo, vengan para acá. Yo no voy a pasar este sedazo solo. Venga, ya era hora que sacaran la cara para acá al frente. El semestre pasado, bueno, vamos, Dalisa, no voy a decir los apellidos porque se me van a olvidar y todos son Rivera, García, Santiago, Rodríguez, todo eso. Nixaira, Eduardo, Pierre, Ángel, Ashley, faltan dos que vienen de camino del aeropuerto, si entran por esa puerta tienen que venir más adelante. El semestre pasado yo di una clase de teoría del color y esto estuvimos hablando durante la conferencia de prensa, pero ¿de qué vale la teoría y la técnica si no hay esencia? Parte de las asignaturas que había eran unos autorretratos que ellos tenían que hacer en diferentes esquemas de color, pero empezamos a hablar de las diferentes situaciones en el mundo, cosas que tenían que ver con arte, cosas que un poquito tenían que ver con política y cosas que tenían que ver más que nada con cuestiones sociales, ¿no? Y eventualmente salió el tema de don Carlos Rivera y eventualmente salió el tema de José López y nada, no se puede hacer universidad, no se puede hacer educación simplemente de forma técnica, no podemos crear técnicos solamente. Necesitamos crear profesionales que tengan conciencia social, que tengan conciencia de mundo y muchos de ellos es la primera vez que viajan solos. Ellos se costearon, la mayoría de ellos, su propio viaje para estar aquí con todos nosotros aquí. Increíble. Ellos querían experimentar todo lo que es el barrio boricua en Chicago y todo el semestre terminó en que íbamos a hacer un retrato de una figura y se escogió a José López por una razón completamente democrática. Yo decido. No. La realidad es que siempre he pensado que José le dedica y le da homenajes a todo el mundo, gente que lo merece, gente que ha luchado, gente que tal vez no son reconocidas, gente muy reconocida, pero bien pocas veces se le ha rendido homenaje a José. Entonces, ¿qué mejor forma y qué regalito mejor podíamos hacer nosotros que en este caso rendirle un homenaje a José, donde nos dividimos en lo que yo digo un cadáver exquisito de parte de una imagen, nos dividimos pedazos para hacer ese retrato que está allá atrás de José López, que exhorto a todo el mundo que en algún momento pase por allí, saque una foto, lo pone por Facebook, Twitter, whatever, lo que quieran hacer, Instagram. Y estos muchachos se dieron a la tarea de, ahí llegó Esmeralda, ahí llegó Cristina, acabamos del director del aeropuerto. Y obviamente como profesor, parte de esto es para que ellos aprendan lo que es mundo, porque yo no los puedo enviar con un simple bachillerato por ahí sin saber lo que es la vida, el struggle, la lucha de lo que son sus compatriotas en el resto del mundo. Aquí está la lucha, esto es parte esencial, el arte es esencial en esta lucha y estos son, como decían los millennials, son los que ven, aquí están los millennials del arte, directamente la única universidad de arte de Puerto Rico, están aquí presentes, ellos dijeron yo, así que los que quieran hablar con ellos, bienvenidos. José, tú sabes que te adoro, esto ni siquiera representa el amor que te tenemos en Puerto Rico, el amor que te tengo yo y espero que en un futuro el amor que te tengan ellos, así que...
Verdaderamente, este es quizás uno de los honores más grandes que me han hecho. Verdaderamente fue un momento bien emotivo cuando yo primero noté esa obra y Richard la mantuvo bien callada por un tiempo. Así es que gracias a estos jóvenes, ellos van a estar trabajando en un mural que todos pueden participar, dedicado a los mártires de Orlando. Así es que queremos que todos pasen por el edificio de Nelly's, donde en la Division y Campbell, para que puedan comenzar a estar con ellos y compartir su grandeza, su creatividad y la de ustedes también, que puedan tener alguna por ahí que escondida. Así que muchísimas gracias. Muchísimas gracias. Nosotros le vamos a dar el domingo un pequeño reconocimiento a ellos en la tarima. Así que vamos a dejar eso para el domingo, porque tenemos las presentaciones protocolarias. Así que le damos las gracias, ¿sabe? Gracias. Ok, ahora con ustedes otra vez, Sandra.
Bueno, y para seguir celebrando, Zenaida López, ¿dónde estás, Zenaida? Estamos celebrando el cumpleaños de Zenaida hoy. Pero yo necesito que Zenaida, hermana de usted, pase por aquí. Ella se lo cumple un añito más que yo, así que estamos como coco.
I'm sorry that I'm so overdressed.
So we're not going to have a happy birthday for her, because we're going to have one performance by Wahana. We're holding them too long, but Zenaida is now officially going to be 65 years old. We expose her. She's the youngest member of my immediate family. Okay, so here. Ahora nos vamos a dejar a ustedes con el grupo Guajana.
Muy buenas noches a todos y a todas. En esta ocasión somos portavoces de un abrazo solidario desde el pueblo de Comerío. Decía el poeta: Comerío montaña en flor, pueblo chico y pintoresco pintado patrón boricua. Nosotros tenemos aquí al grupo Guajana. Ustedes recuerdan para la época del 60, 70 nuestros cañaverales, ¿no? Donde la espiga, esa espiga se llamaba Guajana y se movía al son del viento. Aquí tenemos un grupo de talentosos y talentosas comerieñas que se mueven al son de la música y del ritmo, con bomba y plena. Hoy un extracto del espectáculo que presentarán sábado y domingo, así que los invitamos a verlo. Y sin más preámbulo, aquí está, con el aplauso de ustedes, el grupo Guajana.
Porque no le hicieron los roditos a los varilleros. En la Carmelita le tiraron a los paleros, porque no le hicieron los roditos a los varilleros. Oye, varillero, ay varillero, porque no le hicieron los roditos a los varilleros. Varillero, ay varillero, porque no le hicieron los roditos a los varilleros. Porque no le hicieron los roditos a los varilleros. En la Carmelita le tiraron a los paleros, porque no le hicieron los rotitos a los varilleros. En la Carmelita le tiraron
papá a bailar.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.
De mi tierra, ay papá.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.
Pa'l negro, pa'l blanco, de aquí para allá.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.
Comerío en Chicago, aquí estamos.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.
Que se quema la cañera central.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.
Esto es bomba y bomba, bomba.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.
Barriles, barriles para tocar.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.
Dale, rumbero.
Fuego, fuego, Bucaná. Repita. Fuego, fuego, Bucaná. Fuego, fuego, Bucaná.